Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So yesterday we saw the LEC finally coming back, getting ready and getting into the second round robin. We are now into the back half of Summer Split and really the entire 2022 League of Legends season in both the LEC and LCS. Things are really crazy right now in the LEC. Things are really, really fun. But now the LCS, it's their turn to kick off the second half of their split. But before we get into that today, wanted to talk about some big new Cloud9 news and updates that have been going on. A couple of different stories. One surrounding their Academy mid laner Copy, and the other one surrounding what's been going on with Zeyzal and where he is actually at now, because I think that's actually a pretty big and interesting story as well. But first, a word from today's sponsor, which is, of course, Prize Picks. This is the easiest and fastest way to play daily fantasy sports. All you have to do is pick over or under on player props to win up to 10x your cash. You can play now today on their website, in the Apple App Store, or get it on the Google Play Store. Tons of different options. It can work out for anybody. Anybody out there, you are able to get this thing going. Obviously, it's available in certain states. Make sure you're in the right places, all that. But they do offer big payouts, 24/7 live support, and fast and secure withdrawals. They really offer everything that you could possibly be looking for. And if you guys want to check them out and start playing today, definitely check out the first link in the description below, where Prize Picks is actually going to match your first deposit for new users up to $100, which is a really, really awesome deal. So I just want to say thank you so much to them for helping support me and offering you guys an awesome deal. With that being said, let's get right into this. So the first thing I want to talk about today was this that was tweeted out by C9 Copy a couple of days ago, July 20th. That was my 25th birthday, a very, very big day for me, but also apparently a very big day for Copy as well. He tweeted out some Champions Queue stats. You can see here, C9 Copy, overall rank number 1, but it's also kind of interesting because if you look at the top 10, not necessarily a ton of familiar faces. You have EST Boogie, I believe that's a Latin American player. You have TL Armeo, you have TSM Mia, who hasn't been that great in the LCS this year. You have TL Yan, who is a good up-and-coming Academy player, but when we saw him in the LCS, he wasn't like cracked or totally insane or anything. You have IMT Arrow, who wasn't that great in the LCS either. You have IMT Pretty, who I don't know if he's ever played an LCS game. You have CLG Pum, who I think has been okay this year. You have Infinity, another Latin American team and player. And then you have 100 Thieves Busio, who's actually probably one of the most exciting Academy prospects right now. Maybe the most exciting. Obviously, you have Ayla. That's a very, very big name. But Busio, kind of the biggest standout name to me here. Like I said, we've seen Armeo in the LCS before. He's been okay at times. But overall, this is a big accomplishment. Again, Copy ending or at least being rank 1 in Champions Queue right now with a 71% win rate, 4.8 KDA, 45 wins, 18 losses. You can see those recent games, 8-1 on Silas, 5-3 on LeBlanc, 7-5 on Azir, 4-1 on Corki. He's been absolutely popping off. Things have been going pretty good, and obviously Champions Queue is the best players in North America. It is it's supposed to be a simulated kind of competitive environment. You have the drafts, you have the comms, you have everything. It's supposed to be closer to competitive than solo queue, but it's for sure still people playing off-roll, playing new champs, learning champs, trying builds, relaxing, chilling, working on things, but not super mega grinding after a long day of scrims and all that. It is still, just a variation of solo queue at the end of the day. So it's hard to, take away too much from it. Yes, obviously you'd rather have your players doing well than, poorly in this whole Champions Queue thing, but does dominating Champions Queue necessarily mean anything? I don't know, but this is interesting because C9 Copy has been a guy that a lot of people have been looking at in the Academy scene over the past couple of splits. There's this whole new, NA talent movement, especially with what Evil Genius has been doing, what Danny and Jojo Pune have been able to come up and do. And we've been seeing more and more North American players coming out of the Academy scene and overall doing pretty well in the LCS. And we even had EG go to MSI. Danny looked good. Vulcan looked good. Jojo looked good at MSI. So we know that our good North American prospects, even the young ones, still can be successful if we just give them a chance and if we set them up in environments to succeed. So when is Copy going to get a shot in the LCS? That's what people are going to be asking. And is it going to be in 2023? Now, is he just going to stay in C9 Academy until eventually they decide to give him a shot? I don't know. Jensen's like 28, 29 years old, somewhere around there. I think he's about to turn 30. He's not going to play forever. At some point we could potentially see Jensen and C9 parting ways, or Jensen retiring or moving on to what's next. I don't really think that's anytime soon. I don't think that's likely. So I do think Copy is going to have to start looking outside the organization if he wants that opportunity. we start looking at the LCS standings, he's not going to be going to EG, obviously, with Jojo Pune there. I don't really see 100 Thieves making this move. I could see them making a mid lane change going into 2023, but I don't think it's going to be for Copy. Liquid off the table, FlyQuest off the table. CLG, I think Copy in for Palafox could actually be interesting. I think Palafox at one point in his career was a really, really hyped up prospect. I think for the most part, we've seen what Palafox is. He's okay at times. Most of the time, he's below average, and I really don't think Palafox is the future mid laner for CLG or really any other LCS team. I don't necessarily know if Copy is going to be better than that, but I think Copy is at least less experienced and maybe has more potential or more chance. So I think, CLG Copy going into 2023 could be interesting. Golden Guardians, I don't really see that happening. I think a Blaze Olive is fine, but I also know that they have Leader in Academy as well, who I know is going to be their next mid laner if they decide to pass on a Blaze Olive. Maybe they could move Copy to GGS Academy, but seems unlikely. Cloud9, maybe. I don't really see TSM happening, but maybe if Maple wants to leave or if TSM wants to go young and move on from Maple, I think it's unlikely. I think two other really, really good options are Immortals. Obviously, no reason to have PoE, who I don't know exactly what his contract is, but I would assume is probably getting overpaid right now, especially for playing on a bottom team in the LCS. I don't know why they wouldn't want to go Resident, why they wouldn't want to go younger. Maybe Dignitas would be an option as well. Obviously, they have Blue, but again, if you're going to have a okay import, why not have a potentially okay Resident player and go get good imports elsewhere? So I think CLG, Immortals, Dignitas, all very, very possible landing spots for Copy into 2023. We'll have to see what happens for him, but either way, it's cool that he's popping off in Champions Queue. We also had this big news coming out of C9. This is something I wanted to talk about. C9 LOL, they tweeted out our best kept secret. Join us in officially welcoming home assistant coach Zeyzal. This was 6 or 7 days ago at this point, so it's not like breaking news or anything like that, but I still did want to get an opportunity to talk about it because I think this is really, really cool. This is once again a former player for C9 being welcomed back into the organization. It seems like they've always treated their people well, even though, there's been some friction and stuff at times. Obviously, Zeyzal was kind of kicked out of the team even after, having a good run with the team and all that. But people leave C9 and they always seem willing to come back. I also think this is really, really cool because it seems like he's a well-liked guy in the community and the scene. I haven't really heard too many negative things about him. Seems like a hard worker. Seems like a guy who knows a lot about the game. And seems like he could be a good coach. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. But also, having Sven there, which, a guy who's trying to learn support, a guy who's role swapped, having another coach on the coaching staff who has played in the LCS. And if you guys can remember, he's been pretty damn successful as an LCS support. He was part of the 2018 Cloud9 team that 3-0'd to Freak of Freaks. You can see here, Zeyzal on the Shen support. In game 2, we had Zeyzal on the Braum going 0-2-11. We had Zeyzal in game 1 on the Braum going 0-0-10. Zeyzal has made it to the semifinals at Worlds before. Zeyzal has 3-0'd a Korean team before. He has gotten out of groups at Worlds. Zeyzal has had overall, especially compared to a lot of the other sports in the LCS, a good career. This is a guy who should hopefully be able to help Sven. He's going to be another guy to talk with Sven, work with Sven, bounce ideas off of him. So yeah, overall, I think this is a really, really cool thing. It's good to see Zeyzal having a job, good to see him back in the community, back in the scene, back on C9. And overall, I think it makes a ton of a sense. Again, if C9 was going to bring in a positional coach right now, you have Fudge, Blabber, Jensen, they all should have their positions relatively under control. Yeah, Fudge is still kind of younger, kind of inexperienced. He's role swapping back. And Berserker maybe needs some help and stuff. But like if I was like, hey, Cloud9, if I had to pick a position, I'd be like, yeah, support would be a great one to have another guy to be there to work with Sven, to help him through this whole role swap and everything. Because Sven's a guy we know. He has the talent. He has the intangibles. He has the game sense and knowledge, all those things. He just needs to learn the support position. He needs to learn it quickly, in a couple of months before Worlds, playoffs, all that stuff comes around. So, Zeyzal is back. He's with Cloud9. He's an assistant coach. Who knows if it's going to go well, poorly, whatever in between. I don't know if his aspirations are to be a head coach at some point. Maybe he'll be coaching an academy team before we know it. But we are seeing a lot of these older LCS players popping up more and more. Obviously, Hooney's a coach with TSM now. We have Smithy as the academy head coach for TSM. And now Zeyzal, I guess, an assistant coach for Cloud9. Really, overall, some really, really cool news. Just wanted to get these couple of C9 updates out to you guys. But that's pretty much it for this video today. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about in this video today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.